Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Giant Mess. I'm pretty sure 4 or 5 years from now, I'm going to look back at this first episode and just say, what the fuck was I thinking? It's going to be a shit show. Got a lot to talk about. This is a weekly show, and I'm thinking maybe it shouldn't be weekly because there's just way too much shit going on during the week, over the course of a week, for me to talk about it all. So I'm going to try and condense it down to an hour. If you got an hour, great. If not, see you on the flip, my man. Last week was 4th of July week. Okay. We had plans to go down to see my sister in South Carolina. She just bought a house with her husband. A lot of acreage, great word, and a pool. Definitely was looking forward to that, and then I got canned. I don't know, fired, let go, terminated, whatever you want to call it. It was a temporary position, supposed to be temp to hire, no hire. It's just the way it goes sometimes. So that kind of put the kibosh on those plans. So we ended up going to Van Sant Park, something like that. Not really sure how to pronounce it. My wife found it, and of course the pictures online looked great. Looked amazing. We were primarily interested in the splash park. That's what got us all hot and bothered. And you look at the pics online, you're thinking this splash park might be a multi-day affair. There's that much of it to get around. And we get there, and the pictures were misleading. You know, we got catfished, essentially, by these pictures. You know, it looked like a humongous, gigando park. And we get there, and it's small. It's compact, and there's a lot of people there, okay? Not everyone's going away for the weekend. All right. And this is a very affordable park. You're not paying like $100 per person with a Coca-Cola tab discount. Okay. You're getting there, and it's basically free. You know, and to pay for tickets here and there. But we've never been there before. So, you know, first impression is we're a little overwhelmed, you know, because it's bigger. The park itself is huge. The splash park, small. Park, huge. There's like 6 parking lots. And so I do a lap. You know how you get to the bar, you do a lap, survey the scene? I did a lap with the car just to see what we're dealing with here. And there were a lot of people. I wouldn't say overcrowded, but there was a crowd. And of course, we were prepared for the baby. Diaper bag, food for the baby, formula for the baby. Got plenty of shit for the baby. Didn't bring anything for us, that's for sure. No food, no water, nothing. No sustenance. So, of course, we find a parking space, we get out, and everyone is barbecuing. So I got that kind of aroma floating around my nostrils. And it goes straight to my nostril, straight to my brain, and straight to my gut. And I think, wow, major mistake. Rookie mistake. But we powered through it. We went to the splash park, and I got to say this. Though it was small, there were a lot of kids there running around. Hard for the baby to navigate. The baby's like 10 months old. She just learned how to walk. So I'm not going to put her on her feet and be like, have at it, Hoss, you know? Like, that's tough on the baby. Like, you got to ease into it. So I carried her around. The splash park is just like misters, things of that nature. Just, you know, nice little light shower. But there are kids everywhere, you know? And big kids, too. And this is what I didn't like. The taller kids, they get these plastic bottles, and they go up to like the spray nozzle thingy, the mister, and they're holding the bottle up to the mister and hogging all the water. What are you doing with that water, kid? You drinking it? You just gonna pour it on your head? Like, that's not the place to do it. These are misters. People want to get sprayed. Don't hog the mist. So, you know, a little put off by that. But other than that, you know, we took a couple laps around the misters, and that was that. We thought it would be like a 2-3 hour thing. It turned out to be 10, 15 minutes. From there, we go to the carousel. Now, carousels kind of creep me out. Okay? Maybe I've seen one too many horror movies, but carousels are creepy. They're playing that freaking music that we always hear during a creepy scene with like an evil clown or some kind of haunted amusement park. There's that music. You know something is off. Something bad's going to happen. And that music's playing. Well, we get to the carousel. My wife goes to buy the tickets, and there's this old Italian guy. And he sees me, and I got to back up a step or two here. I got to give you the demographics on this park, okay? We're like one of the only white people there. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for ethnically diverse locations. But we are the only white people, unless you count the Hasidic Jews. Now, the Hasidic Jews, not to get off on a side note, but like, it's July 4th. It's like 90 plus degrees, and they're just head to toe clothing. And I get it. It's part of their belief system. I'm not knocking their beliefs. You can believe whatever you want. I believe you can believe what you believe. I'm all down with that. But wow. Don't know if I could be a Hasidic Jew in July or August. I mean, head to toe, dude. Yikes. Although I am overweight, so it might be a great way to lose weight. Just sweat it out. You know, I mean, they look great. The Hasidic Jews that we saw were in shape, trim. But I don't know if I could put myself through that. I don't know how they do it, honestly. Anyway, there's an old Italian guy, and he approaches me with my baby, and he's speaking kind of like mixed Italian and English. Now, I don't know if he thought I was Italian. You know, my last name's Lynch. I don't really look that Italian. I don't know if it's the jawline, the nostrils, the brow. I don't know. I think I give more of an Irish vibe than an Italian. I'm a quarter Italian. Maybe he smelled that 25% of me. I don't know. But he saunters over, and he's like kind of giving us compliments and doting all over us, but it's in Italian and mixed in English, and I'm just like, you know, thank you, grazie, prego. And then he says, you have a beautiful son, and just turns and walks away. And the whole time I'm like looking around for my wife, like, how long does it take to buy friggin' tickets? We're not at friggin' Disney World here. We're at this Van Sant Park in the middle of nowhere. There's like no one in line. There's no one on the carousel. Very awkward an encounter. You know, because I don't know how to take a compliment, much less I don't know how to take compliments about my daughter, especially when the daughter's being called a son. I mean, she was wearing blue bloomers. But like, is that really what's going on here? You see a color and you just automatically associate gender? Not to get into like gender issues or anything like that, but come on. You know, I think we had her hair up, like Bam Bam or whoever it is from the Flintstones. Like, make an effort. Ask me first. But does that old Italian guy just like go up to everyone at the park and do that? Is that like his thing? There are a lot of kids at that park and a lot of parents. I didn't see him go up to anyone else. Very peculiar. Makes me think he's a racist. I don't know. So Bree goes on the carousel. And she is stone-faced. She's got resting bitch face just like me. She inherited it. I don't know why. You know, it's just kind of like, took her a while to figure out, okay, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be a ride. I need to enjoy this. It took a minute. From the carousel, we go to the zoo. The zoo, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm going to get some facial expressions out of this bitch. You know? Because we have the Around the Farm book. You know, turn the page. The horse jumps over the fence. You press the button, and it makes the sound of a horse. Nay. Horrible impression. The cow eats grains. Okay? So I'm thinking, we're going to see those animals. She's going to see them in real life and be like, okay, now we're talking. Thank you. This is great. Stone-faced. Just almost nothing. And I got to say, like, that's like what happens at these places is it's just like an echo chamber. Like, you have all the parents calling out the name of the animal and then making the sound of the animal. It's just like, the cow goes moo, it's a cow, and it goes moo, and the cow goes moo, and the cow goes moo, and the cow goes moo. It's like, I guess now I gotta chime in. Yeah, it's a cow, and it goes moo. But there were also some animals she'd never seen before. And I just don't think any of it registered, really. I think it was just way too overwhelming for her. You know, I mean, like, as an adult, try to put yourself in that situation. It's like, someone shows you the pictures, explains stuff, but then, like, you're dropped in the middle of this environment where you had no idea that you were going to be dropped there, and you're seeing all these things that you've never seen before. It can put you on edge a little bit. You could be a little shell-shocked. I think that's what happened with her. So, I don't know. The zoo seemed like it was a decent investment. They had this one cage, like a bird cage, where you had to pay $1 to get in. I'm like, I'm already paid for the tickets to get into the zoo. I got to pay another admission to get into this bird cage to see birds? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, didn't go in there. So the zoo, I think it was a success. Not a bust, but not a boom either. Then we went on the train. The train's nice and slow, goes around. We get to see more animals that we didn't get to see before. Thinking, not bad. Not bad at all. We did well. We go back to the carousel because we got 2 tickets. First time my wife goes on the ride with my baby. Second time I go on the baby. I'll go on the ride with the baby. And I'm already a little freaked out about this because I'm like, she's 10 months old. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. What the hell is she doing on like a carousel ride? It's way too young to be doing this. So I strap her in. I pull tight, and it's like not tight enough. Anything goes wrong. She jerks the wrong way. She's done for. And of course, this guy, grown-ass man, adult, not a teen, comes up and sits. I mean, this ride is empty. There's no one around. And this guy comes up and sits on the freaking thing right next to me. Like, I'm standing next to her on the thing. Might have been a tiger, might have been a camel. And then he comes up and he has to sit on the cheetah or the leopard or wherever the hell it is. So now it's like I got to watch my ass because I'm a thick dude. And I got this guy going up and down behind me. I'm not claustrophobic, but I might be. I don't know. Not happy about that. But she seemed to enjoy it eventually. I think she got the hang of it. And we wiped her out. Good and clean. She was out when we got in the car. Went to a place called Fireplace. I don't know if you've ever had the joy, but it's kind of like Steak and Shake, or it's like a burger place. Not a very widely known fast food chain or anything like that, but they have good milkshakes. Milkshakes that are conspicuously similar to McDonald's. I don't know. I don't want to rat or snitch on anyone, but someone needs to look into that because it's awfully similar to McDonald's. And I had the bison burger. And the thing about that is, we just saw a bison. I just saw a bison. I saw a plaque about how the bison were almost extinct, and all these people came together to save the bison, and now I'm eating bison. Felt a little bit bad about it, but it's like, hey, you put in my noggin. I got a craving for it now. Of course, I love eating. The Nathan's hot dog eating contest was July 4th, as it is always every year. I watched the 30 for 30 on ESPN about it. You know, Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was kind of doing work while I was on the TV. But all I know is every time I looked up, I had to look up because Kobayashi doesn't speak English. He only speaks Japanese, which I think is a language. Anyway. So it's like you don't understand what they're saying, so you got to look up to look at the subtitles or the captions. And every time I look up, he's crying. I'm like, Jesus Christ, pull yourself together, Kobayashi. But yeah, it's something about, I don't know. I was in and out. I was not paying attention. Something about his mom. She might have been dying. She might have had cancer. And so his actual competitive eating inspired her to eat while she was going through chemo. Oh, that is some serious stuff. And it's insane when you take it like jokingly, competitive eating, blah, blah, blah. But these guys make cash. Chestnut was saying he makes like 6 figures easy. And like before Chestnut came along and started dominating, like Kobayashi was the guy, and he was typically beating Jaws on a regular basis. But yeah, I advise you to watch it. I think it's great. And of course, we can't have nice things anymore. Can't have fun anymore. Peter King from, I guess, Sports Illustrated, Monday Morning Quarterback, he weighed in and said that the contest is a disgrace or something, that there are starving children in Africa, and it's just like, come on, dude. You know, I found out that Nathan's donates a portion to charity or something like that, but you just can't have fun anymore, man. And it's like, I immediately tweeted, and I was like, someone needs to find a picture of Peter King, like, pigging out ASAP, because it definitely has happened. I mean, the guy's, he's got a little extra, he's carrying around a little extra weight. So it's like, do you go back for the second burger and the second dog or whatever? Just let it be. This bottle cap challenge. Before I get into that, you want to talk about eating? My photo is on the wall of 2 different surf tacos. If you're not familiar with surf tacos, they're amazing. Okay. It's Mexican seafood fusion. It's amazing. It's coastal cuisine, I believe they call it. And they have a challenge. And I love a good challenge. The tsunami burrito. It's 2 of their smothered burritos connected together to form one large burrito. I want to say it's like 2 to 3 feet long. And if you can finish this monstrosity in under 15 minutes, I believe, you get your photo and it goes up on the wall. Now, I don't know how strict they are about these rules because I see some of the photos on that wall and there are like fucking 7-year-olds up on there. And it's like, come on, dude. No one's cheating here? No help from the parents? Well, I did it the right way. No PEDs, no steroids, no help from anyone. No outside interference. I'm on the wall in Manasquan. I'm on the wall in Belmar. You can go there, check it out. I'm a lot leaner back then. I don't know if I could do it now, but top 2 accomplishments all time. Just saying. I'm not a winner. I don't win a lot. I tend to lose most of the time. My name means passionate champion. I haven't won shit. I guess that's a win. Those 2 wins. Other than that, I don't have much to speak of. Of course, the bottle cap challenge swept the internet. It's great. I mean, whatever. I'm always amazed by these type of things that go viral. I was amazed by Bieber. I saw Justin Bieber do it, and I was like, I knew he looks like he's in shape, but like maybe he's just like really skinny. You know, he's shredded, but like I didn't know he knew kung fu. Like what? He's roundhouse kicking a cap off of, and they make it look so freaking easy, dude. Unreal. I will not be trying that anytime soon. But the big thing that came out 4th of July week, Stranger Things, season 3. Oh boy. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, if you haven't watched it yet, take a look at where you can fast forward to in this show because I'm going to talk about it. The non-spoilery review is, it was amazing. Unbelievable. I wrote a very long blog post that no one will read about it. You know, just basically pointing out all the different references and nods to the 80s. My favorite moments. And of course, fan theories about the ending in season 4, what's going to happen there. So the non-spoilery stuff, I don't know. I'm not going to tease you with that. Just know it's good. Now we're getting into the spoilery stuff. So if you want to like fast forward or whatever, that's great. Take a look in the description to see where to go to. I mean, this has been 2 years in the making. I think it's been like 20 months or something like that. Season 2 was, I want to say October 2017. So we waited a long friggin' time for this, okay? And it was worth it, for sure. They definitely took their time in it, and if we're getting this kind of quality, I'm totally fine with waiting 2 years. They took the best part of season 2, which was Dustin and Steve. They put them together again. Phenomenal. But they threw in some extra elements, some fresh elements in Robin and Erica. Now, not a big fan of Erica. I think, it's great that they tried to incorporate her. She's Lucas's little sister. And she is sassy. Like, too much sass. Like, everything out of her mouth is just sassy, sassy, sass. And it's just like, just pump the brakes a little bit. Give me a little bit something different every time you open your mouth. I mean, I understand this is a little girl. I understand she's a character. But it felt, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but it's just like, dude, like, give me something more than you're just going to talk back and be fresh and like whatever all the time. Robin, on the other hand, yeah, nailed it. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful addition. Her relationship with Steve, that dynamic, which is, I noted in the post, is the Sam and Diane dynamic from Cheers that we've all grown to love, that we've seen multiple times in multiple sitcoms and movies, and they crushed it. And of course, they weren't the only couple that was happening to. There was Joyce and Hopper. Of course, they showed Joyce watching Cheers, Sam and Diane, on Cheers, with Bob, but Bob and her didn't have that relationship. Her and Hop got it going on. And, even when Brett Gelman his character Maury Bauman is in the back seat, and he basically just like gives us a nice little quick encapsulation of what's going on, a recap, like just calling them out on their shit. Perfect in every way. And the way that the Steve and Robin relationship paid off, even better. I mean, one of my favorite moments, my favorite sequence is when Steve and Robin have the truth serum injected to them when they're in the basement and they're tied together, and the Russian general comes in and he wants answers. And I really wish truth serum was real, because I would give it to everyone all the time. And the Russian general injects Steve, and he says, "Who do you work for?" He's asked this question a million times, and Steve gives him the same answer. But this time, he's like, I guess truth serum makes you a little drunk, a little high, whatever, makes you feel good. And this time, Steve's like, Scoops ahoy. And it's just like, it's so simple, but so good. They ended up sneaking into Back to the Future, and just like hearing his commentary on a movie that at the time, I mean, we know Back to the Future so well by now that it's like, it's all, there's nothing new or fresh or like different about it. But like back then, seeing it for the first time and like, craziness. So I highly recommend Stranger Things season 3. I learned 2 words. I mean, I guess I knew one of the words before, but we like to watch with closed captions and subtitles. And the 2 words that I love seeing on my screen, and it usually happened when the Mind Flayer came on screen, the thing that looks like The Thing from The Thing. Chittering and squelching. If you haven't watched it with subtitles and closed caption, do yourself a favor and do it. Every time the Mind Flayer comes on the screen and makes a noise, there's chittering and there's squelching. Now, I've seen chittering before. I think I've never used it in a sentence before today. I've never heard anyone else say it. It only exists in subtitles and closed captions. Guaranteed. Squelching is like, there's no way that's a word. That's like you're cheating at Scrabble. You're cheating at Words with Friends. You're going to get called out. Squelching. It sounds like Squanch from Rick and Morty, if we have any Rick and Morty fans out there. So those are my 2 favorite words. But the ending, I mean, if we can talk about the ending if you want. I mean, we'll talk about top moments, my favorite moments. We got to talk about Billy a little bit. I said that Billy looks a little bit like Zac Efron. Nailed it, right? And then my wife chimed in and said, "Oh, he kind of also looks like Jared Leto." Oh my God, nailed it. Those 2 combined, deadly. Just said he kind of looks like Rob Lowe, which that's just lethal. Like, I don't know how you don't have a successful career when you look like all 3 of those guys. I mean, you could just like make fart noises and win an Oscar. But one of my favorite moments, other than the Scoops Ahoy, was Steve. I mean, Steve, holy shit, saves the day when they're in the parking lot, and the Griswold family, which, Nancy, Jonathan, Will, Lucas, Max, all of them, they're in the station wagon. They're trying to start the car. Then you see Billy like flick on the lights. He's revving the engine. He's coming for that ass. Okay, he is coming. He puts the pedal to the metal, and he is gunning it towards these people, and he is going to destroy them. There was no doubt in my mind. And out of nowhere, left field, Steve and Robin, Steve at the helm of the wheel of the Todd Father, comes out of nowhere, side swipes, T-bones Billy. Just music. So proud of Steve. And it's crazy because I like to go to IMDb and look in the trivia section. After I've seen a movie or TV show, I just like need all the information in my head at once. And so I go, after I was done watching, I go on the trivia section of IMDb for Stranger Things. And I see that the character of Steve was meant to be a douchebag, which he was, season 1, big-time douchebag. But he was meant to be a bigger douchebag. And, like, he was supposed to rape Nancy. And then the actor showed up, who's going to play Steve, Joe Keery. And they were like, this guy is way too lovable to be a raper. Not to make light of rape, but like, we can't have this guy raping. And it's for the best, because like he's I don't know if I should throw out the word MVP, but I mean, like, he's one of the top characters on the show by far. And he makes the show enjoyable for me. And seeing him with Robin, and then seeing that payoff when they're on the truth serum in the bathroom, and she's like, yeah, I was really into this chick, and she was into you. And seeing his reaction, and just him being able to process that. It's just like his growth as a character has been, like, unreal. Shout out Steve. Great hair. Can't wait to see more of him in season 4. And his, like, his new partnership. I wonder how, like, that's going to affect, like, I love how they knew they had to move away from him and Dustin, because it's a little weird. A little weird. Dustin is a kid, although he has grown up so much. They've all grown up so much in, like, the span of a year or two. It's insane. They all have, like, different voices now. Like, they can't even go back and do, like, audio with any of them, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work out. Puberty, you know what I'm saying? But so the ending. There are a lot of theories on Reddit. I went through them all. Spent way too much time on the Reddit fan theories. But if you need a refresher, I mean, when it ended, I couldn't believe that was the final episode, by the way. I don't know why I didn't think that was the final episode. It just, like, did not hit me at all. So Hopper and Joyce are in the control room. They're about to turn the keys. Grigory, that Russian friggin' Terminator, comes, pops up on the scene. He's like, gets in a fight with Hopper. They spill out of the control room down towards the machine. Hopper eventually gets the upper hand, tosses Grigory into the machine. Dude explodes. And then you see, like, Joyce trying, like, she has a belt and she's tying it to one key, and she's got the other key and she's trying to turn them, but it's, like, too far. And then you see Hopper just kind of, like, looking at her, like, he's got tears in his eyes. He's like, all right, time to be the hero. Time to sacrifice myself. And, like, the Russians and the hazmat suits, they're rushing in. And they're like, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. They're, like, useless. But you see, so Hopper's, like, on this side of the machine. He's close to the gate, right? And then there's, like, they did something to the machine where there's, like, this electrified force field, just like bolts, just like lightning bolts, electricity, in between him, like a layer in between him and, like, the scientist and Joyce in the control room. And the machine explodes. And the scientists are toast. They are squelching. And there's a big flashing light. And then we cut to, like, I don't know, 3 months later, like, and Joyce and Will and Eleven and Jonathan are moving. And Joyce gives Eleven the letter, and she reads the letter, and, like, everybody's crying. And there's a mention of, like, just leave your door open 3 inches for your old dad. Something to that effect. Which he had, you know, if you'd watched the series, he is, like, not a huge fan of Mike and Eleven just, like, constantly making out and being together with the closed door. He always wanted the door open at least 3 inches. Very important to remember. So she reads that, she cries, and then credits. And both of us are sitting there like, what just happened? Like, this is over? There's no way Hopper's dead? Like, come on, this is insane. So credits roll, and then you don't see, like, the next episode in 5-second little thing at the bottom right, and you're like, wow, this season is over. I thought we had more to explore. And then we get the post-credits scene, and we're like, yes. Russia, barracks, a jail. There's 2 Russian soldiers walking down the hall. The one soldier goes to knock on a door, and then the other soldier stops him and is like, not the American. And they go to the next door. And they pull out I don't know, some Russian dude, throw him in a cage. A white Demogorgon comes out and just, like, fucks him up. And you're thinking, okay, he just said, not the American. So that's got to be Hopper. That's Hopper in that cell. I disagree. I do not think it's Hopper. Now, there's a couple theories. I'm not going to bore you with them all, but the one that I liked the most was that somehow, when the machine explodes, there's that layer between Hopper and the rest of the room. Hopper's somehow either protected or projected through the gate into the upside down. And now he's stuck there. The Russians want to get to 11. It's fairly obvious from this season. But they have somehow enlisted Dr. Brenner from season 1, played by Matthew Modine. They've captured him. They're either forcing him to work with them or something. And so he was tasked with, after the Hawkins lab portal went to shit, of finding another portal. Now, why do the Russians want this portal? What the hell is their deal? What's up their ass? Well, it's the Cold War. They hate the Americans. And the theory is that they want to open the portal, let all this bad shit out in the world on American soil, unleash it on American soil, or unleash it anywhere in the world, but ultimately blame the Americans for this happening, this awful, devastating series of events, unleashing hell, basically. And then that way, when they can blame the Americans, they can then justify a nuclear attack on America. So they enlist Dr. Brenner to find this other portal. So the Hawkins lab portal's donezo. He finds, under the Starcourt Mall, another portal. That gets fucked up. So now he's in Russia, and he wants to find 11 to reopen the portal. How's it going to do that? Do you remember in season 2, 11 went on that friggin' side quest? It was a whole episode dedicated to her running away and to Chicago or Pittsburgh. And she finds these misfits, and it turns out they're the other kids that were test subjects at the Hawkins lab. And she bonds with them or some bullshit, and I don't know, I forget what happens, but you're sitting there and you're like, that was pointless, or it felt pointless, or what does this have to do with the rest of the story? It's somewhat related and blah, blah, blah. And okay, she got her mojo back, or maybe she's more of a badass now. And okay, I get it. That's going to come back full circle. Right. So Dr. Brenner knows about that crew, and he's going to enlist them to lure 11 out, open the gate, because she needs to get to Hopper. She's going to find out that he's in there. She's going to open the gate, and then they're going to unleash the Demogorgons, the Mind Flayer, all the creatures down there, using the Misfits. And so who's the leader of the Misfits? The Hawkins lab test subjects. I believe her name is Kali Prasad. 8, I think her number is. She's the American in the cell. She's being forced to do this against her will. And you'll probably see a showdown between the test subjects and the Hawkins clan, the group of kids, at some point, and then maybe they're able to turn the Misfits and help. But that's the gist. And while all that's going on, if you notice at the end of the season 3, the military comes in full force into Hawkins. Helicopters out the ass, tanks, whatever. And so the military personnel are now, Hawkins is under lockdown, essentially. And you saw Dr. Owens, who's played by Paul Reiser. And so his goal is to get the machine working again, but to seal the gate forever. So basically you have 11 now down in the Upside Down, trying to get Hopper, who possibly might be flayed, Bobby Flayed, and trying to extract him and get him out through the gate before Dr. Owens closes it, but also before that other shit gets out. And I'm in love with that theory. Very happy about that season 4. And if we don't get to 2021, so be it. Just make it good. Just 3 years is pushing it. And I don't want it's becoming a trend recently. I think Westworld did it. Game of Thrones did it. It's just I understand not doing it every year, but it's just as long as we've got some other show to fill in that gap, I guess I'm all right. And there's plenty of stuff out there, so we should be all right. 30th anniversary of Seinfeld. Seinfeld threw out the first pitch at the Mets game recently, and he's throwing better than anyone on the Mets staff right now. I mean, that was beautiful velocity, nice drop, good rotation, nice spin rate. We've been binging The Sopranos, which it's tough going from Stranger Things to The Sopranos because, Stranger Things was made for Netflix, for binge watching, right? So they're going full steam ahead. They're barreling forward. Whereas Sopranos, it's 20 years ago. It was on HBO. It was a week-to-week, program. So it's like, they kind of took their time with it. It feels slow. And it feels like most of the characters in the Mafia are just caricatures. They feel like cartoons. It doesn't feel real. I catch myself being like, shaking my head, rolling my eyes, laughing, because it's just like, it's hard to take these guys seriously sometimes. It'd be completely, no disrespect. Like, don't come after me. Like, I get it. I'm not trying to knock your livelihood, but it just, I don't know. Maybe it picks up. We're like almost done with season 2. Maybe season 3 it picks up a little bit, but I don't know. It's tough to get through right now. We rented Escape Room. I think it came out in like January or something like that, but I've always wanted to go to an escape room. I have no idea why. I'm 38. Like, I need to get over that obsession. Almost took Cassie to an escape room, my wife, in Nashville when I was going to propose to her. I wasn't going to propose to her in the escape room, although now that I think about it, that would have been epic. I was the best man for the first time ever recently. It was a bachelor party was in San Diego, and I almost took the gang to an escape room. Like, a bachelor party in an escape room is just like disaster. I would give it a look. I mean, the ratings weren't great for Escape Room. There's no like name actors or anything like that. I think one of the guys was in Love, Simon, which that's a great movie, Love, Simon. But he was like the wannabe try hard, trying to be hard, funny guy who was like obsessed with girls and tried to do a romantic gesture at a football game and got shut down. It's like nothing at all like me. Nothing at all like me. That's a joke. Of course, Back to the Future came out around that time in 85. Forrest Gump's 25th anniversary. American Pie hit the theaters 20 years ago. So, really quick about American Pie. I mean, American Pie is the reason why I got into screenwriting. When I went to Hopkins, initially, I was undeclared for like 2 years, but my first year I was on like the track for economics. And like the first semester, they don't give you grades or anything. No letters, no numbers or anything. It's like pass, do not pass. And it's like, I passed, I guess. And then the second semester, like, all right, shit's real now. And I went on academic probation after the second semester, freshman year, because I had a girlfriend, my first girlfriend. She was my first kiss. She was my first, I'll just say first everything. Keep it clean. Yeah, so that's why I didn't go to class and I didn't study. And ironically enough, I actually failed Intro to Human Memory because I forgot to drop it. That's a true story. So, but anyway, so the movie came out in July 99, but we got an advanced screening at Hopkins. We had an auditorium where they screen movies. And so in the spring of 99, I got to see American Pie, and I didn't know anything about it going into it. But there was like some promo guy like throwing out condoms or socks or something. And I watched it and I thought, I am Jim, Jim is me, with a little bit of shit brick mixed in, a little bit of Stifler mixed in. Like there's a little bit of them in me and their friends, the school. It all just felt very familiar. I related to them. I identified with them. And I ended up writing a screenplay about my high school experiences. Didn't use any real names, but they were awfully close to the real names. Submitted it to a contest, didn't do shit. Didn't win anything, but that's the impetus behind my foray into screenwriting. That summer, I ended up seeing it again in the theater. I was obsessed with it. I think I had like the desktop screensaver. It was like my desktop background. It was American Pie. I ended up working like with my dad. My dad was a doctor, and I thought, well, economics wasn't really my bag. I'm not great with money anyway. So, but my dad's a doctor, so I guess medicine's in my blood, as if that's a real thing. It's not. So I worked at his office that summer, and then came back, did pre-med. Not great at pre-med. Sucked. Girlfriend broke up with me in rather epic fashion. Did not handle it well. Very poorly. I don't handle a lot of things well, as you'll find out. But that was extremely poor decision making on my part. So sophomore year was pretty brutal. And then junior year comes along and I'm like, go to my guidance counselor or whatever, advisor. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? She's like, well, what do you like? I'm like, I like movies. She's like, by the way, who doesn't like movies? Everyone likes movies. I don't think that's how I decided my future. I was just like, I like movies. And she's like, well, we have a minor called Film and Media Studies that's going to be a major. And the best part is that you can do all the coursework in the 2 years before you graduate. That's not a good sign. That's not a good major when you can do all the 4 years of coursework in 2. Yeah. So that was my life for junior and senior year, I guess, was mostly just film and media studies. Yeah. And then I went tremendously into debt. That I did the math, I would have been paying off until I was 75. And if it weren't for my grandmother passing, R.I.P. Helen, love you, then I'd still have that debt. Fuck you, college. I'm sure it's great it was a great time. I just, I don't know. So let's talk Mets. So the home run derby was Monday. So today's Tuesday afternoon. It's probably come out on Wednesday. So All-Star game's tonight, and the home run derby was Monday. And all the non-Mets fans are such fucking crybabies about Pete Alonso winning this home run derby. Like, everyone wanted Vlad to win. And it's like, first of all, it's a home run derby. I definitely got excited. I was happy for my boy. I love him. He is like the Mets equivalent of Saquon Barkley, pretty much. Rookie who was generating a lot of buzz before he came on full time at the big league main roster, and now is just meeting expectations and surpassing them. And it's more a reflection on how fucked up the Mets organization is, that they just didn't believe. They had no clue. They were like protecting this kid like he was a friggin' Fabergé egg. Like, him and Jeff McNeil are the two reasons why I'm going to keep watching and keep rooting for this team. And I tell you, I am not afraid to pull the ripcord. I have not watched August and September Mets baseball that much the past 2 years, or many years in the past when they have been so far out of contention. I watched a lot more last year because of Jeff McNeil. And when I found out that he was dangled out there as part of that friggin' Cano trade, I almost turned in my Mets fan card, because you don't give up and get rid of a guy like that for Robinson, Cano, and Edwin Diaz, who, hand up, I'm not like a diehard baseball guy. I don't know Edwin Diaz from a hole in the wall. And after seeing what he's done for the Mets, I'm like, what the fuck did this guy do with the Mariners that was so great? Still, he's 26, 27, so it's I guess you got to give him due process. I don't know. But the fact that they almost gave up McNeil in that trade was just poor judgment. And then they doubled down and said, okay, we're not going to trade McNeil, but we are going to get Cano still. And we're going to get Jed Lowry, who I guess moved to Neptune. I have no idea where that guy is. He's apparently not even close to a rehab assignment, which is fantastic. Great news. I tweeted out Jed Lowry is closer to the rehab pool party in Vegas than he is a rehab assignment. I thought I nailed it. So throw a like my way one time, won't you? But Alonso and McNeil, those are the two guys that I'm really keyed in on, and that I hope that the Mets don't even let them get close to free agency. I think they should just lock them up right now, throw tons of money at them, and build around those two dudes. Anyone over 30, pack your bags. Get the fuck off the team. Anyone under, it's ageist as hell. I get it. Todd Frazier's having a great year. I love Todd Frazier. I played with him down in the Jersey Shore Bat League, Wooden Bat League. He called me Uncle Neal. It's a fun fact. I love Todd Frazier. I wanted the Mets to get Todd Frazier in 2015 when David Wright had his back problems because, I mean, anyone who was treating his spinal stenosis or whatever, his back problems, is just like, no, well, he tweaked his toe. No, that's a serious thing. My mom had it. Anytime it's a spine injury, like, you're kind of fucked, dude. There's no real bouncing back from that. So, like, the fact that it took the Mets 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 to fucking realize that and to finally, like, throw in the towel, yikes, dude. But, yeah, so I wanted Todd Frazier back in 2015. It didn't happen. I was still excited when they got him last year. I'm still a fan. I have a feeling he's gone. This trade deadline is coming up. And I honestly think that he's definitely on the table. It stinks because I think that I don't think he's really been that much of a mentor for Alonso and McNeil, but it's just nice to have him in the clubhouse. I think that he provides a veteran presence and is able to get people up when they're down. I don't know. He's not hurting the team. And that said, I think that he's the most likely trade candidate because you can see they have infielders playing the outfielder right now. Like Tom Smith, JD Davis, thinking about moving Rosario out there. Like, they got a ton of infielders that can probably fill in if Frazier were to leave. Which I'll have a Viking funeral for the guy. Like, I don't want to see him go. I really don't. I think he could win a ring with us, but can't always get what you want. Zach Wheeler is probably gone. I mean, like, they've tried to trade this guy, motherfucker, like 2-3 times. Like, they cannot wait to get rid of this guy. I mean, he had a phenomenal second half of the season last year. But I don't know. He's better off somewhere else. Godspeed. I also think Jason Vargas might be on the table. Asen Vargas. I think that, for a team that's lacking a lefty, he could come in and do wonders. And then maybe, I don't even know what you do with Matz at that point. I mean, obviously, I think you have to move Matz back into the starting rotation. Ugh. But, so those are the three top guys that will most likely get dealt. I don't know what the fuck we can get for him. I'm not well versed in the rest of the majors, like who's out there, who's available. I would have to say that there are four guys that probably won't get moved just because of all kinds of different factors, multiple variables, but like Familia, Wilson Ramos, Cano, and Lagares. I mean, like, I don't know what team in their right mind is going to take any of those guys, but like, if we could unload them for like a dishwasher and a bag of balls, it would be fantastic, phenomenal. The fact that we went with Wilson Ramos over JT Realmuto is just really, it just burns a hole in my crotch. I can't fathom it, especially, I mean, yeah, okay, you wanted more offensive production out of the catching position, but the guy, I mean, I looked at his numbers. The guy doesn't play full seasons. And I did not realize or recognize that he was that bad defensively. I mean, he is awful behind the plate. There are pass balls that I'm just speechless. Like, you have a big body, just throw it on the ground, dude. Act like that fucking walrus in the Geico commercial in the hockey net. Just like take up space. Don't just casually flip your glove at it. Holy shit. Lagares, dude. I mean, he's one of the most upsetting falls from grace because this is a guy who every time I tune in for a Mets game, they got a graphic up about how Juan Lagares won the Gold Glove in 2014. Turn the page, dude. Turn the page. I'm sick of seeing it. There's got to be like a statute of limitations or something like that. Like, I don't need to fucking see that anymore. The guy is a liability at the plate, and defensively, maybe I haven't been paying close enough attention, but has he done anything defensively that warrants him being out there all the time? He's got to be gone. And, I mean, Cano, and what can you say about Cano that has not already been said? I mean, the people that act surprised that he doesn't run out ground balls, fucking duh. Like, it's Robinson Cano. He's 36. He lives the casual life. And then the one time he does try to run hard, he like pulls a hammy. You didn't sign him to run hard. I mean, it's you. I mean, you expect it from Keith because Keith is like, he's gonna, old school through and through. He's gonna talk about running everything out all the time, but it's like, everyone else. I mean, get a clue. Like he's, and it just boggles my mind that they went and got Cano and Lowry, both of those motherfuckers, and they gave up Kalenic and Dunn. And we get reminded about the Kalenic and Dunn thing every friggin' day. Oh, look how awesome they are today. Well, look how awesome they are today. Get over it. And then the other part of that trade, I mean, this could go down as one of the worst trades in franchise history. Maybe not on the level of the Tom Seaver trade, but this has got to set him back a couple years. Jay Bruce was part of that friggin' trade. Jay motherfucking Bruce, who has just gone on a goddamn tear. It's why the Mets are cursed, for sure. I don't know what exactly cursed us. I'm trying to pinpoint like where after the 86 series they got cursed, but there's definitely somewhere along those lines the Mets got cursed because when people put on that fucking Mets uniform, they forget how to play baseball. And Jay Bruce was one of them. I was so pumped out of my mind for Jay Bruce during that 2016 season when they signed him and brought him in and traded him for him. And he shat the bed. And I think if he played up to his potential, just like average baseball, just like what he's used to, we're not asking for too much. Mets don't lose that wild card game to the Giants. It's a different season if he plays anywhere close to his potential in that season. And of course, we trade him to the Indians and he plays outside of his face for the Indians. Comes back and does like okay, gets hurt again. Goes to the Mariners, tears it up. Goes to the Phillies, the last team on the planet that I want to see him rip it up. And he's just, I mean, like 333, 2 doubles, 4 homers, 11 RBIs, and 27 at bats is a stat line I just pulled from the Twitter. Robinson Cano batting 240, 17 doubles, 4 homers, 18 RBIs, and 242 at bats. It's got to be either Flushing, Queens. There's something emanating from that field or that area that is causing people to lose their powers. Or I don't know what. It's nuts. I mean, you see, it's historically it's happened a lot. Doc Gooden was like a top pitcher for the Mets, one of the best of all time. Goes to the Yankees, throws a no-hitter. Just awful. I am excited that even though we are losing to the Phillies, and we lost the past 2 series or whatever many series against them this year, that we're not going to roll over and die. That we're throwing at them on every game. I love that. Just continue to do that. I'd be very happy about that. But getting back to Alonso and McNeil, they're the first pair of teammates in Major League history to make the All-Star team within a year of their debuts, according to Elias Sports. If that's not enough to get you on board with them long term, I don't know what you're thinking about. Just invest in those two as much as possible. Get rid of all the old baggage. Focus on your young core of talent, your prospects, and go from there. I mean, McNeil, 3rd most hits in his first 500 at-bats since 1935. Alonso, 30 home runs before the break as a rookie. He's only behind, I think, some guy, I don't know, from 1935, and Mark McGwire. And yeah, fuck yeah, the balls are juiced. I get it. hopefully it's not another steroid era, because that was, Major League Baseball's darkest, but yet also best, most awesomest era. I don't think steroids are the issue. The balls are for sure juiced, but at the same time, if you're getting this level of productivity with the balls being juiced, what are you, like, I don't know, chop off 15%, 20%? Those are still really good numbers. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm going to keep watching. 40 and 50, dude. 40 and 50. The 69 Mets were something like 10 and a half games back as late as August 13th, I want to say. Obviously they had a better record. I think they were 10 or 9 games above 500, but like that's a steep hill to climb. World champions. 73. I think they were like 10 or so, maybe 11, 12 games back in August. Went to the World Series. So as long as we can stay in that range, I'm holding out a little bit of hope. I know some people have canceled KFC from Barstool, canceled, rightfully so. We went through like a circus the past couple weeks, so I get it. I don't understand why you want to cancel. Oh boy. The last time. Yeah. Oh, so the last two guys, we're talking trade deadline. The last two guys that I think you need to think about just dealing. They're both, I mean, this is why I left them for last, because they're a little bit of controversial picks, but Thor and Diaz. Diaz has been a monumental failure. I understand he's 26 or 27. I understand. I just said anyone under 30 you should invest in and probably build around. But this guy is a wreck mentally, I assume physically. Just everything about him is off. And I don't see him getting back on track. I mean, you have the All-Star break. Maybe you can regain some composure. But it's not like you can go down to the dollar store and pick that up. I think he is just shot. And I think it's time to pull the plug on him. For sure. I don't know what you're going to get back for him, but he needs to go. For sure. Absolutely. And then Thor. Thor's an interesting case because he was such a huge fan favorite early on. And I think it's been in the past year or so where people have started to turn on him. Because it's like, dude, you are human. Like, you're not a superhero. I tend to think that nickname went to his head. I think he tries to do too much sometimes, which I don't knock him for that. I mean, I try to do that. I think most people who are hard workers and have great work ethic think they can do more than they probably should. They try to push themselves beyond the limits. But the guy gives us 5 good innings, an outing, maybe 6. I mean, yeah, he had that one complete game. I forget against who, maybe the Giants. But yeah, I don't know that we need guys. Look, it's great to watch a guy dominate another lineup and strike out 10 plus guys. But then when you leave us, I mean, he always has like one bad inning out of a 5 or 6 inning start. And that one bad inning is usually what does them in, that they can't bounce back from, at least in the past. This team, this offense is different this year. I don't know. You can put it on the juiced balls or whatever, but I honestly don't think it's enough. I think unless he changes something and gives us gets into the 7th, deep into the 7th, or at least 7 innings per outing, it's almost pointless to have him on the team. And it sucks because I think a lot of people loved him. I still love him, but the shtick gets a little old. Like, you think like I said, he thinks he's superhuman. Dude, get an MRI. Whatever the doctors are telling you, just do it. Try to rehab. When someone asks you about your hamstring, don't challenge a reporter to a sprint or a race. Like, come on, dude. I don't know. I understand that he's trying to have a personality and I appreciate that. I hate it when people just give canned responses all the time. But at the same time, know your limits and also perform. And, that's the thing with sports, and it sucks, but you can talk if you perform. If you don't perform, your talk gets a little old. And I think we might have reached that point with Thor. It fucking sucks, but I don't know. I just think they need a different approach. I don't think they need a guy that strikes everyone out all the time. I think they need a guy that can chew up innings. And that was part of the appeal for Bartolo later on in his career with the Mets. Just a guy that can chew up innings. Doesn't matter how he does it, he just gets it done. All right, well, that's the Mets. Moving on to the Giants. We'll end the show with the Giants. Not much news. Shocker, isn't it? OBG. BFG. What does BFG stand for? Who gives a shit? OBJ. So he's not around anymore, and looks like there's drama a little bit in Cleveland. I know it's a slow news period in the NFL, but he's causing waves in Cleveland. And meanwhile, in Giants land, there's not a whole lot of controversy or anything that's rocking the boat. I have gone on the record multiple times. I can't tell you how many times I've recorded this first episode. I've now recorded it 4 or 5 times. And every time I say, I love OBJ. He's the second coming of Lawrence Taylor in wide receiver form. I love his enthusiasm, his passion, his fire. I don't know that he was necessarily that much of a distraction. I think people that are my age or younger fucking get it. They understand who he is, what he's about, and they think just let the man play. Give him the damn ball. The older demo, not so much. I think that they thought he was a cancer, distraction, and they're better off not having him in the clubhouse. And I'm not going to completely disagree with them. I'm not, because you look at someone like Jeremy Shockey, a guy who I also loved very much for his fire and his passion, his enthusiasm, and who I wanted to be on the Giants forever. 2007 comes along. He gets hurt. Giants win a Super Bowl, and they trade him. They were able to show that they don't need Jeremy Shockey to win a championship. And there's stories about how him and Plax would argue with Eli in the huddle, and it's like, Eli is not, I don't think Eli is at his best or at his most comfortable when he has guys calling for the ball. And who knows how much longer we have to put up with Eli. Because, there's a headline, he's not rushing into retirement. Well, that's great. Reminds me of the Daniel Tosh bit where he talks about Brett Favre retiring and unretiring and retiring. And it's like, I'm going to butcher this, but Tosh was basically like, why would he retire? If there's someone out there willing to pay him to play football, $1 million? Yeah, sure, I'll go out and play for $1 million. Oh, third string for $1 million? Yeah, sure. Just die on the field making boatloads of cash. I don't think, and I haven't done the comparison. Eli's, this has got to be his last year. And I know I keep saying that, but this has got to be his last year. I'm trying to think of what Peyton was at, where he was at when he was 38, 39. I think that was the year that he went off and had 5,000 yards and 50-some plus touchdowns. I think that was the year. Or maybe that was 2013. It was either 2013 where he's coming off of that neck surgery. It was maybe his first season in Denver. Or it might have been a few years later. If that's the case, then, maybe OBJ was the cause. I mean, it's absurd to think that it's one player. I mean, it's a team game. I kind of don't want to subscribe to that it's one player that, caused Eli to just like deconstruct. I don't know. But I think it's funny that Daniel Jones, he has like a horrible Madden rating, something like in the 60s or something like that. Like one of the worst Madden ratings for a rookie. But yet they have like I don't know, what is it, OTAs, some kind of voluntary camp. And he comes out and there's a lot of coverage of him doing very well. And I'll make a bold prediction. I was supposed to wait on this. Bold predictions for the Giants in 2019. I don't think Eli finishes the season as the starter. I don't think he gets hurt. And I think Daniel Jones, we see some snaps as a starter in 2019. I don't know. I can't see Eli. I don't know. I keep on going back to those last 3 or 4 games in the Giants season 2018 when like they didn't have OBJ and the offense looked outstanding. Putting up I think 4 or 5 straight weeks of like 25 or more points, 30 plus points. And if you want to hear something that'll make you laugh, here's a headline. Could Dez Bryant ultimately land with the Giants? We're still fucking talking about that? Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? What about last season made you think that he would be a good fit on the Giants? He went to the Saints and like immediately got hurt. That's how you know the news is slow when they're bringing that old shit up. No, dude. Pass. Hard pass. R.I.P. to Jared Lorenzen, the hefty lefty, J-Load. As a fat quarterback, I feel like he was my brother in arms. There were a bunch of reports that without Jared Lorenzen, the helmet catch might not have happened. I feel like that's. I want to honor Jared as much as possible. I think he was a great dude, and I understand like his battle with his weight and weight loss. That seems a little over the top. I mean, I saw the footage of him like trying to rip the ball from Eli's hands in practice, and how Eli attributed that to being a major factor in him being able to escape the pocket in the Super Bowl and make the throw. It's a good anecdote. I don't want to rain on it. But I just thought that was interesting. And what I love about this offseason for the Giants is that people shit all over Dave Gettleman for his draft, saying Daniel Jones was picked way too high. All right, cool. Did you look at the rest of the draft? Have you looked at the team that he's put together in terms of the younger players? Here are his defensive linemen. Tomlinson, 25. B.J. Hill, 23. Dexter Lawrence, 22. DeAndre Baker, 22. Sam Beal, 23. Grant Haley, 23. Julian Love, 21. Corey Balancing, 23. Lorenzo Carter, 24. B.J. Goodson is like in his 4th year, so he's probably in his mid-20s. You have a very solid roster on the defensive side of the ball. And I think with Betcher and another year under his belt, with the guys that he wants, he's bringing in some more of the guys that he works so well with. That defense is going to be way better than it was. And I'll say this. For 45 minutes of every game, they played really well. It was just one quarter in particular that they sucked. And it was usually the 4th quarter. And people are pissed that they, didn't put the tag or on Landon Collins or didn't make more of an effort. And it's like, dude, you can't pay $10 million a year for a guy that stinks in coverage. Like, he's amazing versus the run. He's a very physical player, and I loved having him. But that's a lot of money that you're dedicating to one player who was just flat out would get beat in coverage. I saw some Pro Football Focus rankings, which, you either love Pro Focus PFF or you don't. I don't know. I get very lured in by the allure and by the numbers and the rankings. It's something to talk about. And they have the offensive line ranked as like 18th, which is like around the same that they had, I think, last year. The PFF always has them like in the 18 to 20 range, which is like, I don't know, it feels lazy. I mean, I feel like they've made, there's a lot of ifs, all right? Mike Remmers, whatever, the guy they signed from Minnesota, he's got back issues, had surgery. He's a little on the older side. He's got to be better than Chad Wheeler. And Wheeler did fairly well. Although they're saying if you look at just numbers, he's actually worse than Eric Flowers. Kevin Zeitler, John Jalapeno, Apparently PFF says that he's like the guy to watch. Didn't allow a single pressure in like 116 snaps before he snapped his leg last year. Will Hernandez, probably going to the Pro Bowl. Nate Solder had a decent year last year. Not great, but not bad. I don't know. I think 18th is way too low. I'm not saying they're a top 10 line. And if you want a real kick in the dick, take a look at 1 and 2, the Eagles and Cowboys. That sucks. I am praying and hoping for all kinds of non-life-threatening injuries to those two squads. But they even got like George Asafo Adjei. But I don't know what to believe in the offseason. It's just like there's so much weird like talk. And it's because guys are bored. I almost feel like there should be a media ban during the offseason most of the time, because you have these beat reporters that have to contractually put out some kind of story or article. And so they'll make up some shit about how this person that you didn't think about was now going to be like the next blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, dude. That person's not even going to make the fucking team. Well, who knows? George Asafo Adjei, 7th rounder out of Kentucky. Apparently he received an offer from Alabama before he went to Kentucky, and he practiced against Josh Allen at Kentucky. And he's supposedly like showing a lot of promise. I don't know. I mean, you can't really put any emotional investment into any of this shit. You just can't. Yeah, PFF had Jalapeno as a rising star. All right, cool. 3 surprise veteran cuts. This comes from EmpireSportsMedia.com. Cody Latimer, Kyle Lauletta, Rhett Ellison. Yeah, Lauletta is probably donezo. Ellison, I mean, I still don't understand that friggin' signing. You're going to sign him for that kind of money. Use him. Holy shit. Cody Latimer, that's just tough because like he was hurt, but what are you going to do? All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, I fucking recorded for an hour and goddamn 10 minutes before this hour and 10 minutes. And I didn't hit record. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll leak that. I have video of it, so maybe I'll just leak some video of that. But yeah, so here's the deal. Let me see if I can, we'll end this with voicemails. I have a voicemail, Google Voice account set up. The number is 862-BIT-1986. 862-BIT-1986. You can call in and leave a message and I can review it on the show. So we actually do have a voicemail, and it's a good one. I like this one. It's I am Alicia, and then the number 23 in parentheses, which I assume is her age. I am Alicia, 23, live in your street, looking for a sex partner in the neighborhood. Therefore, I have a picture on here, and then there's a frowny, it looks like a frowny face, but I think it's actually a colon and then the parentheses and then the link. And the link is 4hookup.xyz, which if you haven't been to 4hookup.xyz, what are you doing? I mean, get with the friggin' times. Join now and search me, Alicia 4U8, and text me. You also got my contact number there if you want to give me a call. I guess if you're attracted to me. So, thank you, Alicia. It's weird that you live in my street. Feels like it's a mole person situation, you know, like from the movie Us. Like maybe you're a clone. I don't know. I just have the one sex partner now, my wife. So I could maybe help you out. I do still have a couple single friends left that I could hook you up with. I'll take a look at your picture. I'll forward the picture to them, and then they'll be in touch with you. But her number is 248-383-5477. Okay, so that's it. Maybe you can call me and you can solicit sex from me if you want. The answer is no, but I might be able to hook you up with some friends. So again, the number is 862-BIT-1986. Hit me up on Twitter, username RealCinch, RealCinch. Instagram, same screen name. YouTube, same screen name. And this was a horrible debut show. But like I said, 4 or 5 years from now, we're going to laugh. We're going to laugh and laugh and laugh. And yeah, I assume we'll see you next week. I have a big meeting with Barstool Sports tomorrow morning. So we'll probably get into that next week. And then hopefully the Mets haven't spontaneously combusted. They'll be on their way to 500. And the Giants, the less news, the better. I kind of appreciate how quiet it is and low key. I think we're sneaky flying under the radar. No one's taking us seriously. No one thinks we're a competitor. And I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. So that's the show. We'll see you next week. Adios, muchachos.